Let's call the regular board meeting of the Niles Public Library District Board of the Trustees to order. It is 6:46 p.m. on Wednesday, July 20th, 2016. Diane, please take the roll.
Karen?
Here.
Carolyn?
Here.
Barbara?
Here.
Patty?
Here.
Linda?
Here.
Here.
Okay, let's stand and place pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so tonight we will begin with an executive session. I need a motion to go into the executive session to discuss the selection of a person to fill the public. Barb and
Second.
Patty. Okay, Diane, please take the roll.
Karen?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Patty? Yes. Linda?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Okay, we stand adjourned to go into executive, now reconvening the regular meeting of the Niles Public Library District Board of
Oh, 1 second,
Trustees.
please, 1 second.
Okay, the time is 8:16, Diane, please take the roll.
Okay, Karen?
Here.
Carolyn?
Here.
Barbara? Here. Patty? Here. Linda?
Here.
Tim?
Here.
Okay, the first item on the agenda, which I'm gonna go into my agenda here, is the approval of minutes of the tentative budget and appropriations public hearing of June 15, 2016. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Okay, Karen, Patty. Any discussion? Okay, Diane, please take a roll.
Karen?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
The,
Excuse me, don't tell me, I have a question. I have a note, something about something sounds contradictory. I think it's in the way a sentence was written. Page 8.
Oh, those are
Yes,
the.
It's the other minutes.
Oh, okay, never mind. Right, thank
Okay.
you.
The second item is the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of June 15, 2016. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, Karen and Barb. Any amendments?
I made a notation under ordinance, I think it's under ordinance 1605. What did I underline here? Oh, I think it's trustee Diamond agreed to amend ordinance 1605, so the appropriations for employee fringe benefits be raised from 500,000 to 2.5. I think it's the two sentences, wait, I'm sorry, let me read this to myself.
So what did you read?
Page eight.
Page
I
eight
swear
in the
there's
middle.
Two sentences and one sounds, they don't sound the same or something. Oh, okay. This is, I thought it was contradicting. It says, the appropriations for employee fringe benefits be raised from 500,000 to 2.5 million. Then it says, the budget of 250,000 for employee fringe benefits would stay the same. So are we trying to say that we are raising fringe benefits 2.5, or should we stipulate that's specifically for the IMRF? Wasn't it the buying of service hours we were concerned about, or service years?
It's just that the appropriations was raised, but the budget stayed the same.
Okay, but the appropriations is raised for fringe benefits, or that's what it's called, and that's for
Well, for
IMRF?
the retirement benefit, if that would be clearer, we could just change
That's what
that
I'm
to be the
thinking.
retirement benefit.
Right, and then the,
So instead of employee fringe benefits, it would be
because the 2.5 is specific.
What is the line item called though? Is it called fringe benefit?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you in a second. Here it's actually, here what we're actually calling here is deferred compensation.
that's what we've,
But maybe we should put it as what the line item actually
yeah,
states.
I think that makes perfect sense.
It
Okay.
should be the line item that's described in the ordinance. Is that what it's called in the ordinance? You know?
I don't have a copy of the ordinance in front of me, Dennis.
Okay.
So then after we, so,
But how about if we just agree to conform the account title to that which it refers to in the ordinance?
and that's great, but then my question is, does the ordinance call the appropriations column the same as the budget year? So it's fringe benefits. The 250,000 fringe benefits is for what purpose?
It's not fringe benefits, it's retirement.
Okay, so it is the whole line
deferred-
item.
Deferred compensation.
Okay, so then, okay, that would make sense. Okay, thank you, and that's again, so,
So we all agree as long as we just change the terminology to what the ordinance states.
Yes, just a
To
little
be
bit formal.
consistent with it, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, good catch. That sounds good. Any other
no, it
changes?
was the only thing.
Okay. All right, then Diane, please take a roll.
Okay, Karen,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yeah.
Barbara,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Okay, we don't have any public comments? Do we? No, okay. All right, treasurer's report. Greg?
Do you want me to read the entire thing, or do you want me just to field questions?
Sure, you can read the whole thing, that's, or you can read it. Does anybody have any questions? You can go through just so that it's actually on the
Okay.
tape. That'd be nice for people who are listening in.
For the last month of the fiscal year, Happy New Year, everybody. Revenue for the month was short of expectations by 25,000 and more than year-to-date by 38,000 or 0.6%. Salary expenditures are up over budget estimates by $9,000. June is a 5-week pay month this year. It's 3.4% or 120,000, I'm sorry, 3.7% or 120,000 under budget for the year. Library materials are $34,000 over budget and 8,000 for the month and 8,800 under budget or 1.2% for the year. Operating expenses, 21,000 over budget or 74.2% for the month and 67,000 under budget for the year. It's due primarily to capital funds which were spent in the month but budgeted to be spent the previous month. General administrative expenses are $2,000 over budget estimates and under the annual budget by $80,000, 25% for the year, and it's due to slow spending in the consultant line item. Employee fringe benefits are 184 over budget or approximately 0.3% for the month, $30,000 under budget or 4.4% for the year. Utilities, $2,000 under budget for the month and 13.8 thousand under budget for the year-to-date figure. And the net surplus for the month, the net surplus is, the net deficit, excuse me, is 580,000, which is $133,000 unfavorable to the budgeted net deficit of 446,000 and 666,000 favorable year-to-date. Do you have any questions if you have any?
I have a question. I was going through this, and of course, now that I'm ready to ask my question, I don't see it. I was trying to figure out where in here, well, I guess my question is, have we determined what IMRF is going to cost us? Are we,
8.12%.
no,
of salaries.
the IMRF agreement that the Niles Public Library District has enrolled its employees and our actual payment history, has that been determined? We should have gotten some documentation, we should have submitted information, because that's how the board would determine what our pension plan is moving forward, right? And I think that was supposed to take place July 1st. So my question is, are we there? Are you still in the process of determining all that? Have the employees decided if they're purchasing, previous service years or not? I mean, are you done with that?
So one thing at a time. Our cost for IMRF will be 8.12%. It's estimated to be $220,000 overall for the year.
Okay, I'm asking, do
Yeah,
we
you
have
have
an
to let me-
agreement?
you have to
No,
let me
this,
finish.
you know what, I'll save you the time. You've explained this to me 100 times. My
I know.
question is, as of today, it's after July 1st, do we have our agreement with IMRF that indicates everything it's going to cost us? Have all the
That board
documentation?
has not yet voted on whether we're joining them, they vote on Friday. And then the IMRF board has to vote to accept us into their plan, and then we will be getting more information at that time. But the
So
employees
we're-
have not yet enrolled,
Okay,
it's as of August 1st.
so it's as of August 1st,
And they
not
won't have
July
started
1st.
the process, no, we were not, yeah, because they haven't enrolled us yet.
That's what I'm trying to find out. So you can't be enrolled until they accept you.
Correct.
And we don't know what it'll cost us until after they accept us, because that's when your employees could choose to buy back service hours, and then you determine who is gonna cost you what, or service years.
It's important to note
Yes.
that any employee with past service can buy their past service at any point of time as long as they're a library employee.
I
So-
thought it was the first year.
No. It's at any point in time as long as they're a library employee.
Oh, that's right, that's
So-
right, that's how we get buyback, sure.
So if they're 1 week from retirement, they can elect to buy their past service,
Mhm.
which would increase their pension.
Right, that's true.
The longer they wait, the more they pay,
Right.
because it increases, the cost increases by 7.5% a year.
Right, I'm familiar with that, but in previous conversations, it was mentioned that all this was going to take place and we would know by July 1st. So now this explanation makes a lot more sense, because I couldn't figure out how you were gonna get all these employees on board by July 1st, and we met 2 weeks before
Not
that.
realistic.
Okay, and the point I'm trying to make is, as the library board, we are supposed to have gotten a report from an actuary that would have given us all this information when we were ready to vote. So I'm just trying to figure out, when will all of this be in place? It sounds like not till August 1st.
We have received that report in March,
We have, that indicates what our payments would be to IMRF.
8.12%.
No, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the exact dollar payment that we'll be paying. That's-
$221,000.
You know that for a fact.
Based on the payroll that we gave them, $221,000.
And that includes what?
Uh,
Okay, here's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm waiting for the document you will get from IMRF that this library will base its future payments on. I understand you had conversations, I understand they explained how IMRF works. I'm waiting to find out, when is the package for the Niles Public Library District put together and it's final, and then we start paying. But it's not happening, like Susan said, until August. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for not estimates, but actually, this is exactly what we have now, and this is where we're headed. So that's what I was looking for. So I was trying to figure out where in the budget was the payment, because again, I thought it was July 1st. So I was gonna ask you, is it not being paid now, but it hasn't even been clarified, okay?
But the money has been clarified what we're gonna pay. It is.
It's
exactly-
8.12%.
I know, but what I'm looking for is a specific agreement that will say, taxpayers of Niles, this is what you're paying, $375,000. Okay, specifically, and it will cover everyone that it will cover. But it's not just
Well,
a
they can't give us a
percentage.
dollar amount. And the
It's a
reason-
little more detailed than just 7 or 8%, than a percentage. I'm looking for the agreement with them.
So it's expressed as 8.12%. The reason it's expressed as a percentage and not a dollar amount is because there are approximately 30 people who earn wages on a part-time basis. Their hours can fluctuate from pay period to pay period.
Right.
So if they work more hours, 8.12% times more hours is going to end up being a higher number.
There will be an approximate that we will be paying that will give everyone in the community an idea of what IMRF is costing us. Everybody gets these figures, everybody who's in IMRF has to put aside X number of dollars, so it won't be as much a guessing game. But yes, I understand, it can fluctuate because of our part-timers. So I just wanted to figure out why I couldn't find the payment, but that's great, I understand now.
Well, those numbers that you're actually looking at are June numbers. So
Right, yeah, that was my next question, yes. I saw that, but it was this budget we're reviewing should have taken us to June 30th. If we were starting this plan July 1st, you would have written a check in June. But this plan isn't even gonna begin until possibly August, so I understand that. But I have another question. Thank you. I was looking at the budget and I noticed some items are posted for June and some items are posted for July 31st.
Yes,
So does that mean that these post dates for July 31st have already been taken out of the budget? Or is this additional money that will come out of the budget after the June 30th balance?
no, that's money that's spent against next year's budget.
So that means June 30th ended with only the deductions for checks that were posted in June, but we still have all of these payments, which we won't be making out of this budget, but next month, all of this has to come out.
Anything that's marked July 31st will be charged the first period of the new fiscal year.
And why would it be in this check register for the end of June?
Because today is July 20th.
But I thought the budget
Yeah.
end, this is the June 30th budget that we're going.
Well, see, that's a payment register,
Mhm.
and we've transacted business for the first 20 days of July.
So those checks that you transacted aren't gonna be posted till July 31st, and they did not come out, or?
They will be posted in the first period.
Okay, so you're just letting us know that all of this will come out of the July budget, not the June. So whatever's left, we still have to pay all of this. I mean, it's quite a bit here that goes.
That's off of next year's budget, that's off of
Whatever's left,
the
yeah.
16-17 budget.
I know, but here's what I'm trying to say, so are we expecting this to come out of the balance June, so our June budget isn't gonna end where it ends?
No, those are the first period of the next fiscal year.
Right, but why do I wanna know what I'm paying at the end of July when we're reviewing the end of June? I'm trying to get a feel.
Because you're mailing, we have to mail those checks this month.
Mhm,
So
July
you're approving the sending out of those things. You're not only approving the budget, looking at the budget, you're saying, you're approving that we can send those
And all
checks
of
in the
this
mail.
is not included in the budget figures I'm looking at.
You mean all of what?
Okay, when you just read your treasurer's report,
Yeah.
and you mentioned where the budget ended.
Yeah,
That's June 30th.
that's correct.
That doesn't include any of these expenses.
Anything that says July 31st,
So-
it does not include, because that's the first period of the next year.
That's what I wanted to clarify. I wasn't sure if it's like 400,000 or whatever the heck it is, was coming out of June or July. Okay, so this is for July's expenses. Okay, that answers that question. And then I had a couple of questions, and I think maybe I should ask one general one. This is the beginning of the new fiscal year, so this is when you pay a lot of expenses for the total year? Is that why some of these expenses are
Some of them, yeah.
so high? I had one question, and it was about technology. The Dell marketing for 83,000, were those computers that we're purchasing for staff?
Yes.
Okay, and then I also saw in here, is it grant money for computers? There was a payment for some other technology. Oh no, it came out of reserves. So what money is that?
Special reserve.
Yeah, for technology. It's a listing of more technology purchases. I thought that one was 60 and this one was 80. Are we talking two different things?
There was a statement for the special reserve expenses, I believe.
Yeah,
Is there?
is that technology separate from this technology? It's different money, right?
No, all the Dell money comes out of special reserve.
So it's only on the bank register because it's a check, which is coming out of there.
Yeah.
Out of, okay, fine. I just thought it was, I wasn't sure it was two purchases or one. Okay, I got it.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
I'm looking at page 16 of the income statement for our past year, fiscal year ending June 30th, 2016. And I noticed that we had budgeted for last year about 6.5 million, and our actual expenditures were 5.8 million, leaving us having spent about $600,000 less than we budgeted for. And I was wondering where that difference comes from. I see partly it comes from our special reserve fund. We didn't spend what we had budgeted under capital expenditures. But I can't quite pinpoint where the other difference is, or is it just a lot of little differences?
It's a lot of small differences,
Okay.
you know. Biggest one being $120,000 that we did not spend on the salary group of accounts. We were almost $9,000 under for library materials, $68,000 under for operating expenditures, another $80,000 under for general administrative, $30,000 under for employee fringe benefits. So, if you add all of those together, almost $14,000 under for utilities. If you add all those numbers up, you'll get to 627,000 under for the year.
So if you can refresh my memory, I can't remember why we had budgeted $497,000 for special reserve equipment. What was it that we didn't fund that we thought we were going to? That's.
I'd have to look at specifics.
Okay.
I don't have that in this one.
Okay.
Right on that same page 16.
Lisa, I'm just not understanding. Well, why does the budget have a net deficit of $220,000? How big does the budget have a deficit?
Okay, so this is what I call a universal look. Okay, it's everything all together. There are certain items here that do not have a revenue set off against them. So, for example, the line right above total building equipment and maintenance expenditures, $210,000. That has no revenue associated with it. Unemployment compensation, we only had about $1,000 in revenue for the year. Workers' comp, I believe we only had
This is the amount we were in, I understand.
And the biggest one, Tim, is
Yes.
the special reserve fund, which we had budgeted about $490,000, I believe, or $497,000.
Yes. Good job.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you. I will now entertain a motion to approve the payment of bills for operating expenses of $377,192.25, payroll expenses of $288,314.64, special reserve expenses of $66,486.30 for a total monthly expense of $731,993.19.
So moved.
Barb?
Second.
Karen? Any discussion? Okay, Diane, please take a roll.
Karen,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Barbara.
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
Okay, next item, agenda, Director?
All right, I just have a few things. I wanted to let you know that the director of CCS, who only was appointed like a year ago, is leaving already. That's very unfortunate, and so that I'll be attending a governing board meeting next week, and I'll find out more about what plans are for replacing him. But he was a very sharp young man, and he got snapped up by a business. So there's that. I do have a piece of good news. Which I told you last month, I did not think we were going to get our per capita grant check. We got it. $44,157. So less than we got the last couple of years, but still some money. And I just want to refresh your memory that what I requested that money for this time was for, again, replenishing technology supplies like the filament and the 3D printers, things like that, to build up certain collections in the libraries, and I gave some examples of collections, but really it will be whatever the selectors tell me needs some extra attention. And also to be able to hire temporary staff or interns to work on projects at the library. So, let's see, last week we also did, we had, as members of the Management Association, we're entitled to get an HR checkup. So we had our HR checkup last week. And she reviewed things like our application form for employment and asked about some of our procedures, and did find some things where we need to do a little bit of tweaking. So it was very worthwhile. They also are currently reviewing our personnel policies before I try to turn those into a personnel handbook. So just making sure that those are completely up to date. And so that was done, and then wanted to let you know that we, the strategic planning consultants that I told you about are going to come to the August board meeting, and they're coming in person from Indianapolis to meet you all. So that will be at the August board meeting. Any questions for me?
Well, you did an outstanding job at the 4th of July.
I know.
Your participation, so well appreciated.
We missed you
Especially
in our-
those babes in the car.
We
at the
missed
end.
you. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, my
It
God.
was a lot of
Greg
fun.
didn't run over anybody.
No.
Oh, it was a close call.
No. No, the bouncy balls though,
You were not.
they were, no, I think the kids loved them, but they were
But-
bouncing in front of me, that was a little dangerous.
Yeah, especially
And then
when
the kids were
people are
running out like
shopping
in
to
front of
try
my
to pick them
car.
up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was, no, but I think they went over really well, it was just a little, I really had to be careful.
Thanks for not being there.
No, that was not gonna happen, that was not on my agenda for the day.
Well, I did want to also say there was, I told you in my director's report about some things on our Facebook page, and I just really want to encourage you to go back and look at it, because Surgeon put together a video about some of the things that patrons can use, like the converting VHS to digital and things like that down there. It's really quick, it's really snappy, it's really, you look at it and you go, I have slides at home.
Yeah,
I have
I'm
this,
bringing
I have
Yes,
that.
yes.
Exactly. So I
I'm
think you'll
glad
really
you
like it.
mentioned that, because I was just thinking of some that I need to convert.
Yeah, and he did a great job on it, but it also reflects the things that you can do in our digital studio these days. It's really pretty amazing.
So just so you know that somebody does look at your monthly
Yay.
statistics report.
Yeah.
On page 32. Over on page 32. The kids' space study room,
There is one.
percent change. So prior year to date was 211, and current year to date is 831. Shouldn't the percent change be like 160, not a negative 77?
I'm having a panic attack right now. Did I put a number in there?
It's a formula. Thank you, we will look at that.
Because it's like.
No
well,
panic
it should be
attack
more like
needed.
panic attack.
There should
No
be more
panic
like people
attacks.
covered.
Yeah, right, it should be, right,
Should be good.
right.
Yeah.
You got a negative
It's
77, it
okay,
should be like
it's okay.
300 plus, right?
And on the month, it should be over 200%.
Right,
Yeah.
correct.
No, that number's okay. 127, that's okay.
Percent change for the month.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's right, that's okay.
Right. So anyway, it's just, yeah, it's just showing
I'm
you that
impressed.
somebody's
I'm
looking at these figures, you know, mulling them over, being impressed.
Cindy works very hard on pulling these together.
She
It's
does.
a lot of data.
Wow,
Yeah,
wonderful.
sure is.
Really is, especially at Sonic. Very good.
Are there any communications?
Lots of patron suggestions and comments this month. We tried, Diane always enters them in, and she grouped them this time, and I just wanted to find out if you guys thought that this is a good way of doing it, or if you wanted it to be. The comments, I didn't try to reply to every single comment because there were a ton of them. So it's a little bit more grouped, and so when we get a chance, take a look and see if you like that. And then the other thing is just that we had a letter from John D'Amico at the height of the state budget crisis. That is in your packet as well.
A lot of good comments, very nice.
Yeah, it made me sad with the old CD-ROMs going, you know? All right, Building and grounds, Barbara?
I talked to the Lakota group, I guess somebody came out from the Lakota group and walked around with me, they have not gotten me any information yet, but they are gonna be presenting us with something.
Okay, good. So then what?
Then you'll wanna call a meeting,
Okay,
I'll let you know as soon as I hear back, and I will forward you information.
And technology?
that's good.
Liaison reports, Friends of the Library?
They're
Didn't
on
meet.
vacation.
Okay, they didn't meet. Legislative,
I do have something for legislative. The governor signed a bill, Senate Bill 0399, amending the Liquor Control Act of 1934, which now allows libraries to sell alcohol at fundraising events or at programs of a cultural or educational nature. So, yeah, well, many other organizations like universities and things like that, park districts had already been exempted from it, but somehow library districts had slipped through the cracks. But if that's not a blanket approval, I can't just like, crack open a bottle of wine at my story hour. It has to be, that the board has to, we have to put together a policy for you, so I will work with Dennis on that. And then, once there is a policy in place, then the board can approve individual requests to serve alcohol at a particular event that meets these qualifications of being fundraising events or programs of a cultural or educational nature. I certainly don't anticipate our doing that frequently. I would think there would be a very special occasion when that came up, but.
I just read that we were not included in who does it. When did they approve this?
Last week.
Wow, okay. Yes.
So we could still get insurance if we wanted.
Yes, we would have to get insurance, that's one of their qualifications. And there's been some conversation on the director's list about that, and some places, if their insurance already covers it, and some places they're being quoted big numbers, so I don't know the answer to that yet. Well, I mean, if it's too high, then we probably would get it, so.
right.
Dram Shop Insurance, so we probably need a program for the liquor commissioner, which is probably the mayor too.
In the village,
Okay, so we'll work on
Yeah,
drawing that up.
we can't just start doing it.
No.
Okay, anything from Rails? Oh, did you have another question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if it's even worth it for you to go through the time and effort of drawing up a policy. if-
Well, we had served alcohol at very special events, like like when there's a big reception or something like that. It's not anything that happens very often. I think we should have it in place in case it comes up that it would be a good idea. This is a town where people do enjoy having a cocktail. When I go to any events, they are having drinks, so I think.
And this
we
is
have
for
to be
selling
able to-
though, right? For selling?
That was one thing I did want
Well-
to clarify with Dennis, whether it had to be strictly being sold.
It's a fundraiser, I think.
They're paid for it.
Yeah.
And a fundraiser certainly, but the cultural or educational nature part of it.
Right. All right, for Rails? Secretary's report? Okay, Barbara, you need to read the statement concerning the prevailing wage ordinance. Number 11,
It's on your agenda.
here.
A certified copy of ordinance 16-03, an ordinance adopting the prevailing wage rate for laborers, workers, and mechanics employed by the Niles Public Library District was sent to the Director of the Illinois Department of Labor and the Secretary of State Index Division on June 27, 2016. The notice of determination of the prevailing rate of wages was published in the Niles Herald Spectator on June 23, 2016.
Okay. All right, new business was the next thing on the agenda, so I will
Linda,
entertain. Yeah.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
go ahead.
I just want to mention that Dave experimented with the lighting.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about that? Or
Sure.
have Dave talk about that?
Yeah, well, we had Dave try out several different kinds of light bulbs to see if we could lower the electricity cost on the second floor. Ultimately, and Barbara and Linda very kindly came and gave their opinions on it. But what we found when Linda was here is that they make a loud buzzing noise, the LED ones. And so that room is full of lights, and so you kind of envision a room that sounds like a beehive or something. And so we thought that we really appreciated all the effort that they put into that, which was really extensive. He tried a lot of different things, and it took quite a lot of work. And so we've gotten to a certain point with it, but we're gonna look again maybe in a year and see if the technology has improved a little bit.
Good first try.
Yeah.
It wasn't any tried, it just was unfortunate.
I don't think it would go over too well if you've got buzzing, but it's.
Oh, it was pretty loud. Can't say we didn't try.
Yeah, it really. I could have even went with the different types of lighting, maybe that had a different look.
They all have the same cooling system.
Yeah, even that was okay, but the buzzing, it was just.
Well, that's what it is, it's cooling.
Yeah, I'm just, it was very distracting. Especially since it's kind of a quiet environment. It'd be different if it was in the kids' zone or,
Yeah.
a little more lively, but that's not the case. Okay, so new business. Entertain a motion to approve the non-public library district continue to participate in the non-resident library card Illinois program and charge an annual fee of $266.39 based on the formula established by the Illinois State Library. Motion, Karen? Second? Patty? Okay.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
As I'm reading, this is on page 40, right?
Correct.
And A has a figure of 266.39. And then B, the final sentence, says our recommendation is annual fee of 266 without the 39 cents.
That's just, we just rounded it, we did that last year, so
But
I,
this is the motion.
oh, okay.
So what, yeah,
That's
right.
the- oh, well, that's my boo-boo.
And it just say we have to set it at or above minimum level. So
Yes.
do we have to set it at $267 if we're gonna round it?
Well, I mean, you could just leave it, I mean, the memorandum is just the explanation, the actual motion is for the 266.39.
Okay,
Okay.
that's all, yeah, I'm not
Okay.
hitting
no,
at
it was
39
yeah.
cents, I just wanted to know which one we were talking.
Yeah,
That's okay.
so this is the fee that we would charge people that live in an area where they don't pay taxes to any taxing body. We do have some of those in unincorporated Des Plaines and unincorporated Lothian.
Any other discussion?
Can I ask a question? This is for someone to purchase a library card for the year?
We would charge for the family.
What I wanted to ask you was, this is, I guess the state says that we should all agree to charge for an annual fee. But should we consider, since we're going to, that the state is recommending an annual fee, should we consider fees for non-residents for certain things we do in our library? I mean, if it's gonna,
That's a whole nother issue.
but I'm saying to give it some thought, to maybe review that. I'm not saying to make a decision here, but when we talk about,
Yeah, I mean, if they get a library, if they purchased a library card, then
They sort of.
they
but I'm
are,
thinking, for the most part, how many people have purchased a library
not
card?
very.
That's
It's
what
like
I'm
a couple a
thinking.
year.
Right, so what I'm thinking of is they must still be coming to the library, 266.39 is a bit high. But maybe for some of the events you offer and they're non-residents, maybe that's where we can consider some fees.
Yeah, but we already went over that. I called the different libraries around, we've already talked about that, and no one charges at any library in the whole community in all of our areas.
For,
No one, for any
No matter where
program.
you've
They
come
don't even
from.
ask, Chicago doesn't charge, I call it Displays, I call it Prospect, I call it Lincoln. No one charges for program, or asks if you have a library card, or asks where you have a library card at, or if you do have a library.
okay, I guess the point I'm trying to make, if the state mentions that you should pay for a yearly library card if you're a non-resident, maybe we should consider thinking about charging for something. We provide an incredible amount
I
of
think we
not
already
only
did those,
programs.
but I think we already discussed it and we all said no.
Okay,
we
and even
wanted
though,
to.
well, I just brought it up because if the state, if every library has to abide by this,
If you want to take out materials, then you have to have a library card. You
So,
have to be
it's still
registered to be able to
okay.
take out materials.
Susan,
I just want to clarify, not that I like to question you very often, but occasionally.
Go for it.
You had stated it's for the family, not for the individual.
It is a family card. It's by a formula here. They have a per capita cost of $115.75 and multiplied by the average number of persons per household in the district, which is 2.5. So that's what the formula is based on.
I'm just curious because we pay just about that much per individual when we go, when the school goes for our our people that live in unincorporated, because they're financially, they can't afford it, and since they go as a class, then we have a special fund that we pay the fee for them from the school. And I know it's at least that much per individual. I don't know if that covers the rest of their family. I was just curious. To me, hearing it as family is surprising.
Any more discussion? All right, Diane, do you take a roll?
Karen,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, next item on the agenda is, hear a motion to approve recommended changes to policy 3.05 lending regulations. Motion, please. So moved. Barb? Second?
I guess I'll second it.
Patty?
So we
Thank
can
you.
talk about it.
Susan, can you walk us through this, please?
Certainly. Well, the lending regulations are a policy, so the board has to approve any changes that we want to make. We have added a new format, which is a pre-recorded set of devices called Playaway launch pads. And so we need to set up lending regulations for them, so that was the starting point of this. And so the restrictions that Ms. Carey wanted to set up for them based on the number that we were going to have and the kind of technology it was is this, at the bottom here, we're to circulate them for 1 week, that they can be reserved, they can be renewed if there are no holds on it. They can get one, and it is limited to Niles Public Library District cards, and they can get one renewal on it. And they cannot take them out on vacation loan, and there is a maximum fine of $3 a day and a limit cost. So that is the first thing on here. And I also would like to make the Hot Picks collection all have the same lending regulations. So I want to change the Hot Picks DVDs and Blu-rays from a 1 week circulation to the same numbers as the Hot Picks books of 3 weeks. So I just would get rid of that whole line on the grid. And then there were just some typos in here, Blu-rays being spelled wrong, things like that. So those are the changes. Any questions for me?
So DVDs and Blu-rays, they're all going to be 3 weeks then?
That's what I would like.
I like blue easier.
That's what we thought. It's confusing for people to be having things have different load periods.
Sad to see you go, but the Niles Public Library is now closed. Have a good evening.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
It's fine.
Okay, do you think that that's, okay, all right. Then take a roll.
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Okay, next we need a motion to approve the 2010 Sidcord Dempster Plaza Associates PTAB settlement offer recommended by Kleinborg and Jenkins. So moved. Barb? Second?
I guess it's
Patty?
me again.
Patty?
Dennis Walsh, would you please translate that into English?
Let us know what it means. This, the Sidcord motion to approve.
Yep.
Page
Go ahead.
44.
She's asking.
I don't know that much about it. I haven't been involved in
Okay.
it, so I'm gonna
Yeah, there's-
pass it on. This is handled by Mallory of our office, so.
Oh, okay.
So it sounds like if we were to lose, we'd lose 11,000, and that's why the settlement amount
Right.
is recommended at about 5,000.
Why are we paying these people money? That's what I don't understand.
Tax protest.
Tax protest?
Yes.
Oh.
What year is this for?
So they have to pay for their,
2010.
So this is very similar to the
Yeah.
other ones. that
Yeah,
we have.
sure.
Yes,
Creeping
yeah,
up.
that's what I thought.
Is there,
So they're getting some money back, and so we have to give some of our money, but it'll come out the next time, and it's never any money really exchanged.
correct.
Okay, thank you, got it.
So that's a bookkeeping.
Pardon? Yeah.
That's a bookkeeping.
Okay, so any other questions? If not, Diane, please take the roll.
Okay, Karen,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, last motion is to approve the 2010 to 12 Verizon-based senior communities PTAP settlement offer recommended by Feinberg and Jenkins. Motion? Motion?
I guess I'll motion
Patty?
it just so we can discuss it.
Second?
Second.
Tim? Any questions or discussion?
This is basically the same thing, only
Yes.
they're suing for a larger amount.
That's a
right?
lot of money.
It is,
A lot of money.
yeah.
And again, and I know we talked about this, so we just, you know, these are like boomerangs coming out of left field every time we turn around. There's no way we can't even plan a budget if we're gonna end up spending this kind of money.
Well, it's out of our control, so.
The county increases the tax levy by 3% to account for things like this. So generally speaking, we're collecting our net number somewhere in the high 90s, 98, 99%.
Really?
So that's something that McClure and Sarah takes a look at every year.
Okay, so that kind of buffers it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that
So Greg,
sounds
you think
good.
this is fair, to us?
That's beyond my expertise in terms of, whether or not this property is over or under assessed, I have no idea. But for all businesses that have a large real estate component, it's well within their right to protest these amounts and try to get them to be as low as possible. And they probably, depending on the organization, they probably have a team of attorneys that do this kind of thing all day long, for all of their properties. Imagine somebody that has a store on every corner, maybe like a Starbucks or something like that, where they're, they own them, or they're leaseholds of some sort or another. They pursue this kind of thing to lower their cost structure overall.
Thanks. Diane, please take a roll.
Okay, Karen,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Okay, I will now entertain a motion to go back into executive session for the purpose of selecting a person to fill public office.
So moved.
Karen?
Second.
And Carolyn. Diane, please take a roll.
Okay, Karen,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yeah.
Barbara,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
Linda,
She's got a motion.
and Tim.
Yes.
Yes.
Get it to
We entertain a motion to
Oh,
appoint.
excuse me.
Yes, I motion to appoint Rob Breed to fill the current vacancy existing on the Niles Public Library District Board of Trustees effective immediately.
Okay, I think it was Bright, I think he said his name was.
It's Bright, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't he first sworn in in August?
Oh, yeah, he's got this one, but we're filling the vacancy now.
Okay.
And then he's not serving until he actually gets served, sworn in. So the only thing we're doing is filling the vacancy.
Okay, so,
Who made the motion? Steve made the motion.
so we have to make a motion for that.
To,
So, for your
For what you
motion.
said. Okay.
So I need two people to make a motion in a second.
I second the motion.
Okay, so Carolyn made it,
yes.
and Tim second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, just say that it was a very difficult decision. Diane, please take a roll.
Karen,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yes.
Barbara, yes. Patty,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Okay, so, sorry, but he will be sworn in the beginning of the August meeting. So Susan, please notify each of the candidates of the board's decision tomorrow and thank them very much for their willingness to serve and for coming here and answering our questions. Is there any other? Any other? Okay, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Patty?
I saw that hand go up.
Tim? Okay, please take a roll. Aaron?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yes.
Barbara? Yes.
Patty,
Oh.
Patty?
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
No.